Think about stepping outside on a bright summer day. The sun on your skin feels good, right? It's comforting. It's literally the engine of life on Earth. But we often forget that warmth is a luxury, one bought by 93 million miles of empty space and a nice thick atmosphere. But what happens if you strip that distance away? What happens if you rip off the atmosphere and stand face to face with the raging nuclear furnace at the center of our solar system? Today, we're heading to the innermost circle of the planetary family, a world that's been blasted, scorched, and bombarded for 4.5 billion years. We're going to Mercury. For this trip, imagine you're completely indestructible. The blistering heat can't melt you, the freezing dark can't shatter you, and the raw radiation won't blind you. You're just here to take a walk across a world of absolute extremes, a tiny iron cannonball locked in a brutal dance with a star. As we descend from orbit, the planet below looks eerily familiar. Honestly, at first glance, you might think we took a wrong turn and ended up on our own moon. It's a stark, gray, heavily cratered wasteland rolling endlessly toward the horizon. But the second we touch down, you feel the difference. You step off the lander, and your boots crunch into the regolith. On the moon, you'd feel incredibly light, bouncing around with every step. But Mercury? Mercury is dense. It's hiding a massive iron core that takes up over 80% of its volume. Because of that heavy iron heart, the gravity pulls you down hard. It's actually identical to the gravity on Mars, about 38% of what you feel back home. You can still jump pretty high, hanging in the air for a second or two, but the planet pulls you back down with a firm, solid thud. Look around. There is no wind. There is no weather. You might feel the vibration of your boots through your suit, but the world around you is completely, deafeningly silent. And then you look up. The sky is pitch black. Even in the dead of day, the sky is just the empty void of deep space filled with brilliant, unblinking stars. We're used to blue skies on Earth because our atmosphere scatters the sunlight. Here, there's nothing to scatter it. But hanging in that black void is a monster. The sun from the surface of Mercury is a terrifying, magnificent sight. Depending on where the planet is in its orbit, the sun looks up to 3 times larger than it does from Earth, and the light is blinding, 7 times brighter than the brightest noon you've ever experienced. If you weren't indestructible, stepping into this light would be game over. The temperature on the day side of Mercury sits at an astonishing 800 degrees Fahrenheit or 430 degrees Celsius. Walk over to a jagged rock baking in the dirt. If you dropped a block of solid lead on it, it would melt into a silver puddle in minutes. The ground radiates heat so intensely that it actually creates a thermal distortion, a shimmering effect just above the surface. You can practically feel the heat pressing against you like a physical, crushing weight, but you just stand there taking it in. As we start walking across the scorched plains, the landscape tells a story of unimaginable violence. We're coming up on the edge of the Caloris Basin. This is one of the largest impact craters in the entire solar system, nearly 1,000 miles across. Billions of years ago, an asteroid the size of a massive city slammed into the planet right here. The impact was so apocalyptic that the shockwaves traveled straight through the planet's core and blasted out the exact opposite side of the globe, creating a chaotic, jumbled mountain range we literally call the weird terrain. But cross the rim of the Caloris Basin and you'll notice something else strange about the landscape. Towering, curving cliffs are rising up from the dusty plains. Some are a mile high and stretch for hundreds of miles. These are called lobate scarps, but they aren't tectonic plates like we have on Earth. They're wrinkles. Because Mercury's massive iron core has been slowly cooling down over billions of years, it's shrinking. The planet is literally getting smaller. And as it shrinks, the rocky crust buckles and snaps, pushing up over itself to form these towering, jagged cliffs. You are walking on a world that is slowly crushing itself. But honestly, the strangest thing about standing on Mercury isn't the heat or the craters or the shrinking crust. It's time. If you stand here and watch the sky, the sun barely moves. Mercury rotates incredibly slowly. A single solar day, the time it takes for the sun to rise, set, and rise again, takes 176 Earth days. That means you get 3 solid Earth months of blistering daytime, followed by 3 solid months of darkness. But keep watching the sun and something impossible happens. Because Mercury's orbit is highly elliptical, it speeds up as it whips close to the sun. At a certain point, the planet is actually flying through space faster than it's rotating. If you look up, that massive sun just stops. It hovers there. Then, slowly, it starts moving backward. It traces a little loop in the sky before stopping again and resuming its normal path forward. In some spots on Mercury, you could watch the sun rise, stop, set back down below the horizon, and then rise again in the exact same morning. It's a hypnotic cosmic illusion. But we don't have 3 Earth months to wait for sunset. So, let's walk to it. Because the rotation is so slow, the boundary between day and night creeps across the surface at a walking pace. We call this the terminator line. On Earth, our atmosphere scatters the fading light, giving us a long, gentle twilight. But on Mercury, there is no scattered light, there is no twilight. Here, the terminator line isn't a shadow, it's a razor-sharp wall. It's the exact boundary where blinding daylight stops and the pitch-black night begins. As we walk up to it, you can see it perfectly. On one side, the ground is hot enough to melt lead. On the other side, just inches away, it's the freezing void. We step over the edge. It's night. The change is violent and instant, without a thick atmosphere to trap the heat. The second you step out of the sunlight, all that blistering energy simply bleeds away into deep space. In a matter of hours, the temperature plummets over 1,000 degrees. You step out of an 800-degree blast furnace and plunge into a deep freeze of minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit. That's minus 180 degrees Celsius. It's colder than Mars, colder than Antarctica in the dead of winter. It's so cold that if you exhaled a breath of Earth air out here, it would freeze into snow before it hit the ground. The contrast is wild. Your left foot could be in the sunlight melting lead, while your right foot rests in the shadow, cold enough to freeze carbon dioxide. There is no transition, just fire and ice. Walking deeper into the night side, the gray craters look like silent, hollow bowls under the starlight. We're heading north, toward the pole. And here, in the permanent eternal darkness at the bottom of the deepest craters, we find Mercury's ultimate paradox. Look down into a crater that hasn't seen a single ray of sunlight in billions of years. The bottom is smooth, reflective, it's water ice. Here, on the closest planet to the sun, baked by unimaginable heat, there are millions of tons of frozen water hiding in the permanent shadows. Delivered by ancient comets, this ice has just sat in the freezing dark, totally untouched by the raging star right next door. Finding water ice here begs a massive question. Could anything actually live on Mercury? It's a cool thought, but the reality is brutal. Unlike Earth or the deep oceans of icy moons, Mercury lacks the basic building blocks for life. There's no atmosphere to breathe or block the deadly solar radiation. The temperature swings are just too violent, instantly boiling or freezing anything organic. Even with frozen water hidden in the dark, there's no liquid water flowing and no steady warmth. If life ever tried to take root here, the sun scorched it away eons ago. It is a beautifully dead, completely sterile world. It's time to head home. We push off the freezing dust, drifting slowly back into the vacuum of space. As we pull away, you look at the tiny gray world below, and you realize Mercury isn't just a dead rock. It's a survivor. It's the iron-hearted sentinel of the solar system, guarding the innermost circle, silently enduring a relentless billion-year assault from the sun. A world of impossible contrast, where liquid lead and frozen water share the very same sphere. It reminds us that the universe doesn't care about what's comfortable. It only cares about what endures. And Mercury, shrunken and scorched, will endure long after the rest of us are gone. If you enjoyed this journey and gain more insight into Mercury, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. We've got a whole universe of space, time, and history left to explore, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.